Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I am joined by a very lovely guest, one of my booktube besties, Deea from Novel Idea. So excited to have her on today, and we are doing the Introduce Your Booktube Buddy tag, which was created by Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, and she tagged me I don't even know how many months ago. So, Christy, I'm so sorry that it has taken me so long to do this tag. But because this tag has like interview questions that we actually wanted to think about, and then it also had like book mail that we sent to each other and stuff, it kind of took a while for us to coordinate all of our schedules. So, on my channel today, I am going to be interviewing Deea, and then she's going to record a video where she interviews me. And so that's kind of how we're doing this. Christy did this with Victoria from A Musical Bookworm, and those were just such fun videos. So I'm so excited to do them with you.
Yeah, I'm so excited too.
So are you ready to be put in the hot seat, Deea?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I made her nervous by saying that, could you tell? All right, so there's a section of questions that I ask Deea, and then Deea's going to recommend a book to me and opens a book mail and all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll go ahead and get started. So first of all, Deea, what genres do you like to read?
It's probably easier to tell you what I don't like.
Well, what genres don't you like to read?
I am not a thriller, suspense, horror person. Sometimes suspense I can do. And if it's really like low stakes thriller, like nobody's gonna get bloody and gory and all of that, I could probably handle it. But I'm not a horror reader. So just about everything else. Romance I don't really care for. Um, but everything else is pretty much up for grabs.
You and
I
I read
like to
very
read.
similarly.
I like to read it all, except
Yeah,
for not.
almost all of it, except a very few.
Hmm.
So you have had your channel for a year. Deea just celebrated her 1 year anniversary, very shortly before the filming of this video. So have you found that your preferences have changed over your time on BookTube, either for your channel, or I know you're very active on it before you even started your channel, but have you found that your preferences have changed over time?
Um, I think that preferences, different kinds of preferences have changed. Like, um, I I found out really quickly that I prefer not to have more than 2 or 3 buddy reads at a time.
It's easy
um,
to have more.
it is. So I mean, I've always got several books on the go, but when I'm having to like, Voxer other people about what I'm reading and not just reading it, um, I find that I get kind of confused and muddled with things if I'm doing more than 2 or 3. So my preferences there have changed. But that's partly because I wasn't really doing very many buddy reads before getting on BookTube. So and the other thing that I have found is that I always want to have at least one nonfiction in my rotation because it feels too bubblegummy otherwise. I feel like I'm not getting enough meats and vegetables, even though I don't eat meat.
Enough
I'm
protein.
not getting enough protein. Um, if I don't have something to kind of let my roots go down a little deeper in. So I guess that's it.
I love that. So, what kind of videos do you enjoy making the most?
These kind where where I get to sit and talk with somebody. I really like these ones. I I am still not an editor. And And my son, who is a video editor, is always like, Mom, you really need to up your game. I'm just like, no. Simple, easy, straightforward. Sit here. I don't even blog very much. So yeah. I think I've done one blog in the whole, in the whole year. And it was so much work in comparison to just sitting down and talking to everybody about what I'm reading. I just thought, these are going to be few and far between.
I don't think that your videos need more editing because like what would you edit? Just
I
like
think he
cut
just
out
wants
some of
me
the
to,
things that you say?
he wants me to pizzazz them up. Make these a lot more fun. I'm like, but I'm not a fun person.
You are a fun person. You're
I
just
just
I
went
feel like you're
straight
low
forward.
maintenance and there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't I feel like your videos suit your personality, which is perfect.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
doesn't mean you're not fun. Just means you'd
yeah.
rather spend time reading more than editing videos.
Yes, absolutely.
Nothing
In
wrong with
fact,
that.
if I could hire somebody to edit videos for me, I would probably do it.
I'd say that I would do it, but I don't do a ton of editing either. So
Oh, all I'm doing is cutting things out. That's all I'm
pretty
doing.
much same here. Same here.
Trying not to make it look too choppy.
Yeah. So what is I know that you love to like review the books and that you do like weekly wrap-ups of like what books you're reading, what books you finished, and what is your process for gathering your thoughts on a book that you're talking about on your channel?
Um, a few things. After I finish a book and I've kind of written, so I do a lot of annotation if I'm reading a physical book. Um, I do listen to more audiobooks now than what I used to, thanks to the trip and moving up here. It kind of got me into at least one audiobook going at all times, it seems like. Um, and I don't take notes on those very well. So for those ones, I try to, as soon as I'm done with the book, write out what I felt about what I just finished. And then I'll go and I'll look at summaries of the book, not so much reviews. I don't want to read other people's thoughts. I just kind of want to read how other people are summarizing the book. So I do that. And then I try to write out like a little 3x5 card with just some bullet points on it that I want to make sure to hit. And I still don't do it.
Do you look at your card when you're filming or you just like look at it beforehand?
I try to look at it and not look like I'm looking at it. I don't need cheat sheets. No.
You don't ever look like you're just looking or reading off of anything. So I think you're succeeding in that.
Oh, good. I try to look at it, but then I'll look at something and I'll miss a bullet point or, something like that. So it never comes out just quite as well as I would like it to. And when I am buddy reading and I'm talking to other people throughout the process, I tend to internalize the book a little bit more. And so I really appreciate my buddy reads because I love to be able to think about these things and talk about what I'm feeling in the moment as I'm going through the book. It just helps me remember it better at the end as well. So it really just depends on how I'm reading the book in order to be able to, say this is my process. Because the only time that I really have an absolute process is when I'm physically reading the book and like making annotations and doing all of that.
Awesome. You're so much more organized than me and all of that. So what is a bookish goal that you have? I guess it could be overall, or if you have one specifically for 2023 that you'd like to share, whichever one.
I'm not much of a goal setter. I will say that I don't usually do resolutions or anything. I want to finish a lot of the series that I'm in the middle of right now. Um, I don't have, I feel like I'm making good progress in those. And so I don't feel overwhelmed by that one at all. I would love to read a new favorite classic. It's been a long time since I've had a classic that I've picked up that I felt like this is a new all-time favorite. And it's just because I've read so many at this point in my life. Um, and so there's some that I just absolutely adore. And I just want to find an author that I haven't read and that really wows me in some sort of a way. So I really want that. And then I started doing a commonplace book this year,
I have
and
one.
I am loving it. But um, I I I would love if it became more of something that was less of a thought process. Like right now, the way that I'm doing it is a little too organized, I guess, because that's the kind of person that I am. I just want it to be kind of more natural, more organic, and so I guess that's kind of a bookish goal too, is that I want to, as I'm listening to something, to just grab my book and write down that quote, and and just things like that. But that's it, I guess.
It's so fun that you have like a commonplace notebook or journal or whatever, because that's not something I've heard many people talk about outside of Charlotte Mason homeschooling. So if you haven't heard that term before, it's basically just a notebook or a journal or whatever that you write down quotes from books that stick out to you. And it's
Yeah.
like a place to have all of those compiled. But it made me so happy to hear you say commonplace, because I'm like, I know exactly what that is. And I have one that says it right on the front. So
Oh, I love that.
that made me really excited. Made my Charlotte Mason mama homeschool heart just happy. All right. So, kind of moving off from reading a little bit, what are some other hobbies that you have other than reading a million books? Deea's like the fastest reader in the West.
um, I read a lot now. I mean, it's just been in like the last 5 years probably that I've gotten really back into reading. But and I read a lot when my kids were in school, because I wanted to read what they were reading
Right.
and and all of that. But uh, so I really don't have a whole lot of hobbies other than reading right now, but I love it. So I love to knit and crochet. I am an old woman. I do everything old womanish. I love to cook, and I love to read about cooking, which is really funny. I'll just sit and read a cookbook cover to cover.
That's what I was going to ask. I'm like, do you mean a cookbook or a book where like cooking is a
Oh,
theme? So,
I love both,
both.
both.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, and I love to garden. I really love to garden, which is hard when you live in an apartment.
Yeah.
So I have lots of pots everywhere. Um, let's see. I was a photographer professionally for several years, and I still really
Didn't know
love
that.
photography. But because of we currently only have one vehicle, and my husband is the one that works outside of the house right now, and so it's like, well, I guess I could just walk around the same neighborhood over and over and take pictures of the same things. But yeah, I haven't picked up my big camera in quite a while because I don't have a lot of opportunities to just get out and wander and take pictures of what I really love. So, but I do love photography and I love art.
That's cool. I didn't know that about you. I learned something new.
Oh,
Oh, so this is an interesting question. But what book have both of us read, and do we have different opinions on it? And we have very similar opinions on a lot of books, but we have read a lot of the same books.
yeah.
So
Yeah. And we do have different opinions on a few of them.
a few, yeah.
You really like Anna Karenina,
I do. I love it.
and I detested it. It was one that it just made, I guess I really love it when books, instead of telling you what is right by showing you everything that's wrong, give you the right thing and like put it on a pedestal. They really lift it up, and they really say, this is what is true and good and beautiful. Follow these things. Look upon these things, instead of saying, this is what's true and good and beautiful, but this is where our characters are, and they're never going to get over there.
They're never.
They aren't even
Some
going
of
to try.
them
They're
did.
probably going to go the other direction.
Some of them did. Mild spoiler alert, but some of them for sure did not. And Anna
No.
Karenina. I remember talking to you about that one and being like, I love this element of the redemptive ending, and you're like, it wasn't redemptive enough for me. I'm like, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I need full redemption.
Yep.
Yeah, it was hard. That's also one of the reasons why I like Mansfield Park is one of my least favorite Jane Austen books. And
Tell
it's
Christy.
because of the fact that there are these completely unredemptive people, or they're not unredemptive, they are unredemptive. Their actions are never fully dealt with, and there are these other things that are just forgiven and let go of, which is wonderful. I'm glad that they can just do that, but that just doesn't seem very real to life for me. And so, yeah, I just want there to be justice, and I want there to be redemption.
So those were like the main interview questions. So we are going to exchange some book recommendations. So in this video, Deea is going to recommend a book to me, and then in her video, I'm going to recommend one to her. So what book do you have to recommend to me, Deea?
Well, I've sent you a couple that I that I recommend to you. So Nicholas Nickleby, and
Which is
God's
on my
Smuggler,
TBR for October, for Victober. So
and God's Smuggler.
oh, yeah. Yeah, you bought me both of those.
I know.
Literally
Like,
sent me the recommendation.
Please.
Yeah. Anytime that Deea recommends a book to me personally, I always listen because she's never been wrong. Not one time has she been like, I think you would like this book. And I'm like, no, I didn't. Sometimes she might like a book that I don't love, but if she says you would like this book, she's always right. So far, she's batting 100. Wait, is that the right number? I don't know baseball. She's 100%.
It's
She's batting 1,000. Thank you. I was like, I don't know baseball.
That's okay. I'm married in a family that loves sports, so,
okay.
So I get it. So besides what I have already bought you and sent you, I would recommend, I read a book last year that I absolutely loved, and I sent it to someone thinking that they would really love it too, and they hated it.
Oh no, that is such a horrible feeling.
Which the reason why they hated it is not valid, but
I appreciate your wrong opinion, but
well, it's not that it's an opinion is the thing. She doesn't enjoy reading child narrators.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's what I'm like, okay, but number one, she's all grown up, when she's telling this story, and she's
Oh, okay.
remembering back on some things that happened as a child. So she's not a child narrator. She's an adult, but she's telling you about childhood.
Okay.
So it's not valid to me. That's not what it seems like to me anyway. And that is The Road Past Altamont by Gabrielle Roy.
I haven't even heard of that.
It's so good. And I came upon Gabrielle Roy because of Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot and Shelley Swearingen, because they read The Tin Flute.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't find The Tin Flute. I couldn't find not in my price range.
That's surprising because isn't that a pretty popular book? Like a lot of
It's
people have read
very
that.
popular, but I didn't want a really cheap little copy.
Okay.
So I could have gotten it for $2 or $3 if I would have gotten one of the English, really tightly bound paperback books.
Yeah.
But I didn't want that. And I wanted to also not spend a fortune on a hardback copy. And it's not available brand new anywhere. You have to buy it. You either have to buy it as a mass market paperback, brand new, or you have to buy it old and used from, and I couldn't find one for the longest time, but I could find Road Past Altamont. And I'm so glad that I did. It's tiny. It's a tiny little book. It's 4 interconnected short stories, which I'm not a huge short story person, but because this is all her life, this is all the same 3 women in her life. And so she starts out talking about her and her grandmother, and then she talks about her mother, her grandmother, and herself. And then it goes to her and her mother, and then it goes just to her. And it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. And it's one of those things that when you're reading a new author and you just keep expecting for something to happen that is going to make this book such a disappointment, and it didn't happen. And it was so good. So I would recommend that one. And then, have you ever read this?
I have not. No, you posted that during middle grade March, and I'm like, I haven't even heard of that. And I own like 5 or 6 George McDonald's, and that's not one I'd even heard of.
So this one's not very big either. I found this when the kids were really small. I found it randomly at Goodwill. And I didn't know that George MacDonald had written anything other than nonfiction and his fantasies that he wrote. So all of his Princess and the Goblin and the Golden Key and all of those. And so when I found this, I thought it was going to be fantastical,
Right.
or something. And it isn't. It's just this wonderful, simple story about this little boy who's growing up in a Scottish village, whose father is the doctor, so he probably has a little bit more in life than other people in his village do, but he doesn't know that. He learns to read and he begins to teach others in his village to read, and he's little when he learns to read. He's like 3. And so he is teaching the cobbler how to read. He's teaching the blacksmith how to read. And in return, they're teaching him how to do things too. And he's learning all of these things that are going to help him to help others in life. And it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. And so here's another one for you.
Thanks. I get a 2 for 1. Oh, that sounds awesome. So next we sent each other some book mail, and I did not open mine yet. I don't know if Deea's opened hers yet.
I haven't.
But she gets to open it in front of everyone and see what she got. And I'm like, I hope she doesn't hate it. The reaction is like, oh, dang.
That's not going to happen. Okay, what do we got? Oh, we have a Sense and Sensibility bookmark. I love it.
I made that from a
is
VHS tape that I found at a thrift store.
I love it. This is my favorite version of the adaptation of this
Oh,
book.
yay. I actually
Yeah.
didn't know that, so that's serendipitous.
Anna Green Gables cookbook. I love it.
That
Oh
was
my
kind of
goodness.
inspired by our readathon that's happening next month, the Ellen Montgomery. I found that and I was like, oh, I bought a copy for myself too, so we can make recipes together if you want.
Yay! Oh, we need these should be some of our picnic recipes.
Yes, yeah. And we know how to do
Oh,
non-dairy swaps, so we're good, I think.
yes. Oh my goodness, this is going to be great. Oh, I love it. Okay. Just one more thing.
Yep.
Tea. It's novelty. I love it.
Novelty for novel ideas.
I love it.
And all the bags of tea have literary quotes on them.
Bad ladies. I love it. 12th Night. Grapes of Wrath. Oh, these are going to be awesome. I kind of want to open it and
Go
look
for
at
it.
want to see what it says. This one is if you believe everything you read, you better not read. I don't know. Oh, it's a Japanese proverb.
Oh, that's funny. I know some of them are actually like literary quotes as well. So
I love it. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
you're welcome. All right. So next is exchanging some booktube memories. So maybe
Okay.
you can share a favorite memory and then I'll share one when you interview me.
Well, let's see.
Don't share them all. Leave one for me.
Well, just like with this time, last time we tried to do something like this is one of the times that I have laughed the hardest.
Yes. Oh my word.
Because you either have to laugh about it or you're gonna cry.
Or both. No.
Or both. Laugh until you cry. Yeah, it was such a fiasco. It was so funny. And how many times did we record? Did we just do it twice or did we have to do it 3 times?
I think we did it twice, but considering we filmed each of ours separately, that's 4 videos.
Yeah, yeah.
That was for our reread, rewrite, or burn game that we played. And the first time we recorded it, we had no audio and we couldn't figure out what we did wrong. So we had to make these impossible, painful decisions twice, and they were different because the papers were mixed up a different way the next time.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt like yours went easier the second time around and mine went harder.
Yeah, it swapped because, yeah, my first time was so bad. And then the next time was a little easier. The matchups were a little better for me.
So that's definitely one of my favorites. I've loved doing Flannery O January with you too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just being able to talk about what we're reading. And I mean, I've always just been in the live chat. You know, I haven't been on screen or anything, but just being able to know that somebody else is reading those things along with me and experiencing them in a different way than what I have. And still appreciating them also for what they are. And so, yeah, I've enjoyed them.
Definitely. I love them both too. All right, so the last question that I have is I am supposed to pick another booktuber to tag for this video. So I'm going to tag 2 people who are friends. You guys could do this together or you could do it separately with other people, but I'm going to tag Stephanie from Miss Richards Reads and Kate from the Literary Apothecary. I think it would be so fun to see the two of you do this together and the two of you interact, because I know you guys have so many memories together and so much you've done together. But I know that you guys also both have a lot of other close booktube friends. So either way that you choose to do it, like I would love to see both of you do this tag with someone on your channel. So thank all of you so much for watching. I hope that if you are not already subscribed to Deea, that you go ahead and do so. You've learned a little bit about her and how amazing and wonderful she is. So I hope that you do yourself a favor and subscribe to her so you can brighten your day every time a video of hers comes out. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me. And I will see you again next time.